We're back and worse than ever. This is for the girl who's been told to love herself at every size, but secretly craves the version of herself that walks lighter, eats slower, moves more.
Your body doesn't want you to be fat, you do. You're the one clinging to it. Social media has convinced you that losing weight is disordered, it's dangerous.
It was like an influencer. Now I'm not an influencer, I'm a star, so.
Everyone wants to be skinny. They just don't want to admit it.
People are always asking me my arm workout routine, and it's just this. I love shopping. It's my favorite exercise.
Yeah, I think, well, okay, so I generally think it was how I was born. So I was born 6 pounds, and I went down to 5 pounds. Lost weight right out of the womb.
With your knees
Oh, sorry.
Show us your beautiful face.
Every Sunday I do a little Zoom with the Skinny Society members and we go over the week. You guys obviously can't hear what's in it because it's secret.
Skinny is a mindset, not a certain body size or shape. And if you are perfectly healthy, it's embarrassing to take the elevator or escalator because there's limited spots. Take the stairs, okay?
Let's talk about Liv Schmidt, a social media influencer with a master's degree in provoking anger and influencing her young, vulnerable audience to be skinny, pushing an agenda that being skinny is a wise lifestyle. A perfect way to line her pockets and validate her sickening beauty standards. However, her take on wellness is baffling. You'd wonder how she was able to amass thousands of followers across platforms like YouTube and TikTok, profiting off of people's insecurities, fat shaming, exploiting and promoting eating disorders, and body shaming women through provocative captions, even using animal emojis to hurt viewers. Liv Schmidt has effortlessly made herself queen of the people you need to avoid on Skinny Talk. This is not just another story about social media influence. It's the story of a toxic empire that one insecure woman is creating in plain sight. The case we're examining today involves a young content creator who transformed from being a corporate professional to an unapologetic, controversial influencer.
Reasons why I created the Skinny Society. People, guess what? You'll become the 6th. But if you surround yourself with 100 skinny girls, you will become the 101st. That's identity.
Grab your popcorn as we unravel the story of the most dangerous influencer and her skinny cult.
Whatever they want, I don't give a shit. That's why I don't defend myself. As long as you guys know, my army, my followers, my society know. This is not a place for quick fixes. You know that.
Ever been shamed for wanting to be skinny? Whatever they want to call it. Let this be your sign. They only shame what they see.
Liv Schmidt, the 22-year-old blonde with a finance background, fresh out of the University of Arizona with a magna cum laude honors, traded her corporate dreams for TikTok fame. She built a brand around one of society's most dangerous obsessions, being impossibly thin and empty.
Glamorizing being good and glamorizing feeling empty.
Schmidt found her place in Skinny Talk, a controversial subset of wellness content that explicitly promotes extreme thinness. The wellness and fitness space on social media has become increasingly saturated by 2024. Traditional fitness influencers promoting conventional workout routines and balanced nutrition faced fierce competition for audience attention. Schmidt joined the struggle, seizing the opportunity to create a place for herself in this very controversial niche.
Your hunger trauma is fake. I used to be dramatic skinny, and skinny girls don't beg their snacks to save.
Today, TikTok won't let you access hashtags that are deemed sensitive or related to body image, and Skinny Talk is one of them. Yet, somehow, someone like Liv Schmidt still manages to pull through despite the restrictions. After losing her first account, she returned to TikTok and tried to grow once more. Unfortunately, it's been moving at a slow pace ever since. Schmidt was smart, well, in her own way. Rather than using standard spelling, she deliberately chose to align with the word skinny with an I. You might be wondering why. Well, let's hear her out.
Because there's a difference with skinny with a Y and skinny with an S.
Here's her explanation. Be ready, it's wild.
With an S. Skinny with a Y is frantic. It's forceful. It's the girl counting calories like a prisoner. It's all willpower and white knuckling. It's binge, restrict, repeat. It's I'm starving followed by I.
For her, skinny with a Y is wrong. It's not the right type of weight or body size you should aspire to get. It's not sustainable. In fact, it's like a myth where you struggle to lose weight and might succeed at times, but not for long.
Let's be clear, skinny with a Y might get you results. It will get you results maybe even quicker, but it will cost you your life, your joy, your radiance, your hair, your period, your peace. She's fragile.
Liv Schmidt is basically preaching to her poor audience that the regular habits of going on diets and making conscious decisions to achieve weight loss would break you at the end of the day.
Skinny with a Y is a punishment phase.
So don't do that. Pick her own solution, a solution that comes with a different spelling but the same meaning and pronunciation.
You're skinny. S-K-I-N-I, skinny with an I. It's discipline without desperation. It's portion control, not punishment. It's effort, but
Schmidt truly is a marketing genius. She has this way with words that makes you want to buy what she's selling. Aside from that, she would even write something, a dictionary maybe, where she included the word skinny along with her own special definition. She's got a real knack for creating a vibe around her brand, and it's pretty impressive, in a super calculated way, of course. But Schmidt is not just smart, but cynical. What she didn't and wouldn't tell her viewers is that the misspelling served other purposes. Real purposes. The whole skinny spelling thing created a distinctive brand identity for her. It's not just quirky, it's strategic. It's genius for building a brand that's super searchable and memorable. Beyond that, it's also a way to sneak past TikTok's algorithms without getting flagged. That's some clever thinking. No matter how she tried to sugarcoat it, the writing on the wall couldn't be any more clearer. She knows that what she's promoting is not girl power, but a super sensitive topic. Posting videos that glorify being skinny can be triggering for individuals with eating disorders, and may also force some audiences to revisit painful memories of being pressured to lose weight or conform to unrealistic beauty standards. This is why it's a heavily guarded topic on social media. Yet Schmidt somehow convinced herself that she's acting for the right cause and continues to share anything and everything about being skinny in the most insensitive way possible. Her movement is like 2012 Tumblr all over again, when the pro-anorexia, short for pro-ana communities, were promoting EDs and wreaking havoc for young people. Liv Schmidt's conscious agenda with Skinny with an I is more or less pro-ana content. By extension, the nature of pro-ana content can often be insidiously described as thinspo tips or wellness trends to promote healthier living. That's exactly what Liv Schmidt's content is all about, giving her audience a curated glimpse into her version of healthy living. Her vlogs showcase her carefully crafted meals and drinks, all presented as the epitome of wellness. Her skizzas, aka skinny pizza,
Summer skizza. Yes, skinny pizza. Watermelon, lemming, apple pie, skizza. Skizza is just code for skinny pizza.
her unnatural tea combos,
Today we're making the skinny monkey. Think chocolate, banana, peanut butter, and a cauliflower curing. 1,000-calorie cookie into a ton of skinny teas. No bloat, no crash, no crumbs.
and even water mukbangs.
Hopefully this doesn't make me too full.
So my skinny drink order is water.
All these food cons were essentially masterclasses in restriction. Her signature drink recipes weren't your typical healthy smoothies. They were elaborate weight loss potions featuring ingredients like lemon water, teas, and supplements, all presented as tasty and effective tools for staying thin. Schmidt would film herself whipping up these drinks with an aesthetic that made restriction look almost glamorous, turning potentially concerning behavior into viral content that racked up hundreds of thousands of views. It took on life in her miniseries Living Slim in the City, where she shot normal vlogs for outings and daily meals.
I'm in the city because working out every day is a scam.
Welcome to Living Slim in the City, a week in my life.
It was her breakout content format, perfectly crafted for the social media generation that consumes lifestyle content like it's oxygen. These weren't your typical day-in-the-life videos. They were aspirational glimpses into a world where thinness wasn't just a goal, it was a lifestyle brand. Schmidt would take her followers through her days in New York,
Yes, so we're going to the Red Room and getting some calves.
showing herself in workout sets, sipping green smoothies, and navigating the city with the kind of effortless aesthetic that screams expensive and exclusive. Liv Schmidt had a seriously strategic approach to content creation. On TikTok, she'd post short videos about skinny tips.
A skinny activity with your friends this weekend. A skinny activity is anything you do that doesn't involve foods.
Then on Instagram, she'd switch to a more polished, aspirational vibe that basically sold extreme thinness as a luxury lifestyle. Then on YouTube, she'd go for longer, more educational style content, mashing up clips that she posted on other platforms. By tailoring her content to each platform's unique audience and format, she was able to cast a pretty wide net. In all her online scheming, she was well aware of the nature of the content she was portraying. Schmidt would often blur out or bleep the word skinny in her videos, not because she was unaware of the harm her content might cause, but because she understood how quickly she could go down the drain once the system paid mind to it.
All my videos are being taken down because you can't talk about being skinny anymore. It's being censored.
From this behavior, we can tell that Schmidt is fully aware that her content was problematic enough to potentially violate platform guidelines, yet she continues to create it while getting mad at the people criticizing her for it.
I'm not an influencer, I'm a star, and I stand by that, period. And I don't wish you well. I forgive you. Actually, no, I don't. I forgive you in my heart, but I actually don't. And I don't wish you well. And you're just not interesting enough to talk about yourself because no one fucking listens, so you have to bring my name into it. And honestly, I was literally thinking about this. Imagine social media was taken away, all of them, like you know who I'm talking about. Guess who's thriving? Me, not you. You would be eaten fucking alive like the vultures you are and complaining. Like, imagine that. Imagine them in the real world versus us. We're thriving. They would come to us for fucking shelter. Bye. Like, you'd be eaten alive. Like, we are human. Being skinny isn't toxic, okay? And like, you are dumb idiots. Like, I'm sorry, you're dumb. If you watch my videos and you don't like what you watch, fucking scroll. That's what I do. I block. Like, and people.
Side note, that's her on a podcast cursing out her haters after claiming she doesn't clap back to criticisms.
With negative people. And the main thing I would just say is, like, don't clap back. Like, just don't stoop down. I feel like we need to...
She just wasn't having a field day, and we all know who's to blame for the negativity, if not herself. Schmidt is a raving influencer with a screw loose here and there. But before we proceed down this rabbit hole any further, let's do a bit of Sherlock Holmes on her, shall we?
But I'll be the one in a tiny white sundress, looking snatched with my arms, and you will be hating wearing last season's oversized.
Before the controversy and before the headline's warning of dangerous content,
you are dumb idiots. Like, I'm sorry, you're dumb. If you watch my videos and you don't...
There was simply an ambitious young professional building what appeared to be a promising career. Liv Schmidt's pre-influencer life reads like a standard success story for many Gen Z professionals. When we took a look at her LinkedIn profile, we were shocked to find out there was once a normal lady behind this skinny cult some years back. Liv Schmidt pursued her education at the University of Arizona, where she focused on digital marketing and public relations, fields that would later prove instrumental in her ability to build and monetize an online following. Her academic performance was exceptional. She graduated magna cum laude in just 3 years, completing her degree in October 2023. Her LinkedIn profile speaks of someone clearly ambitious and professionally focused. She was a social event coordinator at a private family office in New York City and gained experience from a caliber of institutions. Her resume includes internships and work with some of the most prestigious names in luxury goods and finance. She worked with Bulgari, the Italian luxury brand known for its jewelry, watches, and accessories. And more significantly, she interned at Goldman Sachs, one of the world's most prominent investment banks, known for its rigorous standards and sophisticated approach to business. These weren't casual summer jobs or informal arrangements. Getting into institutions like Goldman Sachs and Bulgari had to mean something about Liv Schmidt's qualifications. This background would eventually serve as a sensible reason as to why and how she was able to build such a polished, professional-appearing brand around her content. But that's not the only shocking thing about this bold influencer. Liv Schmidt's early social media presence was markedly different from what would come later. She was no leader or advocate for slim beauty. Instead, she was something terribly mundane. You wouldn't have guessed right about her.
Don't text a guy who is bad at texting.
Yes, before entering Skinny Talk, Schmidt created content around dating advice and general lifestyle tips on Facebook. This was back in 2023 when her social media presence was just kicking off. The tone and focus were conventional, discussing beauty tips, relationship advice, and general self-improvement content that other young women her age would find entertaining.
You're pretty, but never get asked out. The first reason why is a lot of boys are scared of rejection. They might seem confident, but they are actually really terrified of it.
We did some digging and noticed that during this period, her content showed no particular focus on body size, extreme fitness, or restrictive eating. Instead, she focused on traditional beauty advice.
Most scientifically attractive makeup. Attractive tip number 1 is healthy, glowy skin.
Her earlier content tells us one thing. The Liv Schmidt we know today, the one who glorifies being skinny, had not possessed such beliefs once upon a time in her life. She was once a normal girl who made normal makeup content to pass time and enjoy life in her own way. In all posts on Facebook, Schmidt addressed insecurities related to her body. In fact, she felt pretty and confident in her own skin, advising ladies on the proper way to use makeup.
Clear, glossy brows that lift your face like Miss Bella Hadid is in. Get it for $6.
And do's and don'ts in relationships.
Names are for boyfriends and boyfriends only. I don't care if it's your 6-month situationship, you do not call them baby, babe, or any pet names.
So, what changed? If this young lady had been bold and confident enough to reveal herself on social media in her natural element, why did she suddenly rebrand to start this skinny society? Had she always been secretly insecure? Well, we got an answer recently in a video she posted on YouTube in July.
I grew up with a very round face, and thank God, whenever I got leaner, my face leaned out, and I honestly got bullied for having round chipmunk cheeks. My face was so inflamed.
Liv Schmidt admitted she did have insecurities regarding her face. It's a sad case, unfortunately, but it doesn't explain how she managed to switch to such drastic beliefs on body image and how she was able to push that agenda on social media. She could have quietly undergone her transformation while maintaining the usual makeup and relationship coach content. Why did she feel the need to create a cult following around what she believed was an insecurity to her? It makes us wonder whether her change in content was just a strategic switch to something that would generate more engagement and controversy. After all, we did figure out that she had experience in marketing strategy. Liv Schmidt was struggling to gain traction on Facebook, with her content barely scraping 2.3 thousand views at its peak. Her likes were even more disheartening, with her most popular post, a birthday vlog, garnering less than 50 likes. It's clear that she had the inspiration to be a social media influencer, but was struggling to connect with her audience on Facebook. So, what could she do? She re-strategized, rebranded, and switched to a more saturated social media platform where she could prey on the minds and insecurities of unassuming followers.
Everyone should be able to get skinny, point blank period. It should be accessible to everyone.
The transition period between her conventional lifestyle content and her controversial skinny content is somehow a mystery, considering she moved her online presence from Facebook to Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. However, what we do know is that by August 2024, she had begun posting content related to her body.
I just don't feel my strongest or my leanest, and I just feel bloated and blah.
This was her first ever video on YouTube, and in that video, you can see how different she looked from what we usually saw on Facebook. Her cheekbones became more pronounced and her jawline more sharpened. She looked completely different than before.
Late night boy tips with Liv while I take off my makeup. The way girls put on makeup.
In February 2025, Schmidt had acquired certification in weight loss specialization, ULS. She had already begun posting skinny content around this time, had already spiraled into the controversial content creator we know her to be. But still around this time, Schmidt had experienced a series of social media setbacks. Between September 2024 and February 2025, when she became a certified cult leader, Liv Schmidt had lost her TikTok account, an account where she had accumulated more than 600,000 followers. Schmidt chose to get credentials amid the chaos, as if sitting in an online class for a few hours could legitimize the content that had gotten her account canceled months prior.
I'm allowed to say it. Give me the pass.
You have the path.
Yes, Liv, you've gained total clearance for spreading distorted body image tips because of your online credentials. It's worth noting that having professional credentials, corporate experience, and educational achievements doesn't inherently make someone's health advice safe or appropriate. In fact, these credentials can make problematic content more dangerous because they lend an air of authority and legitimacy that can make audiences less likely to question the advice being given. In Liv Schmidt's case, with her influence and following, a certificate could instantly lead younger minds astray. Take this for instance. Here's Liv Schmidt educating her followers on how lectins in tomatoes are not fit for losing weight.
I'm a certified health and wellness and life coach. My dad's a gastroenterologist, and I've gone to a nutritionist most of my life.
but no one ever talks about leptin.
You see how she starts her introduction? If you as the audience didn't know any better, you would think her claims in that video were valid and scientifically accurate. Fortunately, real health practitioners quickly responded to the video, invalidating not just her claims that tomatoes were an unhealthy diet choice for losing weight.
Know that diets that are more plant-based, high fiber, tend to be beneficial when it comes to weight loss,
but also addressing the flaws in her initial introduction.
That's a gastroenterologist. Does she mean gastroenterologist? Not knowing how to say the medical specialty she's claiming authority in is crazy. Going to a nutritionist makes you informed to discuss nutrition. By this logic, all of my patients must be educated enough to be doctors.
Given the timing of her certification, it's clear that Liv Schmidt was not ready to let go of her weight-focused content, even after being called out for her attitude towards health and wellness. She obviously wanted to build credibility around her new brand direction. The corporate skills she developed, particularly in marketing, public relations, and event coordination, translated directly into her ability to build and manage what would become a subscription-based community. Her choice of words is oddly similar to a marketer trying to pitch his products in a very polite, very entertaining kind of way.
And shame again. One scoop of joy doesn't ruin the progress. Fearing joy from food.
It's the type of tone and delivery you would see in a self-help book, only that it's used to profit off thousands of psychological and emotional investments. Now that she had switched to her biggest and most disturbing selling point, Schmidt began to get more vocal about the drive behind her skinny mentality. In one instance, she claimed it was for a photo shoot.
The only reason I wanted to be skinny was to be able to do a photo shoot like the Tumblr days in a designer bag. So I wanted to be skinny so I could fit in a designer bag, and
It's funny and could actually be true, but here's another crazier and absurd reason. In a podcast with YouTuber Nobin, she states that her affinity for being skinny started not in 2023 when she posted on Facebook, or 2024 when she spiraled on TikTok, but straight out of her mother's womb.
so I was born 6 pounds. And I went down to 5 pounds, lost weight right out of the womb. I was literally fighting for my life since day one.
Liv Schmidt claiming that she was born for this calling should set off warning bells in anyone trying to take her advice. But shockingly, some people love her and her teachings despite the warning signs. Schmidt's foundation of legitimate professional experience and education creates a complex picture. Unlike many influencers who build their platforms entirely through social media presence, Schmidt brought real-world business skills and institutional credibility to her content creation. This made her particularly effective at creating what appeared to be a professional, well-organized wellness brand, even when the actual content was extremely dangerous to her viewers. With Schmidt's pre-influencer background, we get a glimpse of a young lady with a heart for speaking to women, be it on relationship issues, dating advice, or beauty tips. Liv Schmidt's content wasn't amateur hour. It's an intentional packaging that her business mind had finished a goldmine out of. She leveraged every skill she had developed in her legitimate career and was using it to influence many people. And while it was disturbing yet easy to overlook before, it's now growing into a general concern. Schmidt's content itself is carefully crafted to generate maximum engagement through rage baiting. Think clickbait for the emotions. Her pattern followed a careful pattern, extreme enough to generate controversy and discussion, but packaged with enough aspirational lifestyle elements to attract genuine followers. Additionally, Schmidt knew her target audience. Instead of reaching out to the general wellness audience, she specifically appealed to young women who felt frustrated with conventional body positivity messaging. What's worse, she preached in an era when slim was chic. Conventional Barbie aired in the cinema, and celebrities were losing weight.
Your body positive idols are getting thinner too. Demi Lovato, Lizzo, Amanda Bynes said she was going on Ozempic. Quietly, silently losing weight.
Timing-wise, she hit the jackpot, and she rode that wave perfectly. There was a lot going on in the world of beauty and fashion at this time. Schmidt made sure her content offered a solution to the new mainstream wellness culture, which leaned a little more to slim beauty. Not long after, she created the Skinni Society, a small gathering of women with like-minded views on being fit and slim, who all looked up to Schmidt for guidance. Liv Schmidt would taunt her audience into joining her society with cheap wording on how to get skinny and look chic.
What I'm served versus what I serve myself, skinny style. Apply to the skinny.
Schmidt would dole out bite-sized tips and tricks that would make her viewers feel like they were in on her secret. Her words were carefully chosen to be both enticing and effortless, making extreme weight loss goals seem achievable with minimal effort, as long as you were part of her tribe, that is. She preached that walking a few thousand steps a day was a necessary part of weight loss.
So
spots. Walking slims your waist. Walking also lowers your cortisol. Lower cortisol equals less belly fat. It also leans out your legs. It makes them long, lean, which is feminine.
Ditch the escalators and elevators. Always use the stairs.
And if you are perfectly healthy, it's embarrassing to take the elevator or escalator because there's limited spots. Take the stairs, okay?
She'd showcase tiny portions, talk about eating till you felt good, and present hunger as something chic and disciplined rather than concerning.
Hunger is not an emergency. You're going to be okay if you don't eat right away. You are not in danger. The craving is not hunger. It's emotional sedation.
Somehow Schmidt's tone has a hypnotizing element in it, and this is a major concern for young people who are joining her society. She was creating desire through scarcity, making her followers feel like they needed to unlock some secret knowledge that only she possessed. Liv Schmidt soon became notoriously popular on the internet. The modeling world took notice as well. Elite Model Management signed her, not because of her modeling potential, but because of her massive social media following. By extension, anyone could interpret this as the agency backing Schmidt's message about the importance of being skinny. The modeling industry, which has its own complicated history with body image and eating disorders, was essentially legitimizing by association every sick thing her brand stood for. Schmidt reveled in the content she was creating. She dished out questionable advice to her devoted followers. She'd share tips on how to indulge in food.
The truth is, the one scoop of real ice cream enjoyed in peace is less harmful than an entire weekly thing of healthy food eaten in punishment.
If you think that's weird, this one will blow your mind.
I eat more, stay obsessed with food, and still see results. You're not looking for freedom. You're looking for permission to keep the obsession.
She also pushed her girls to make lifestyle choices that would help them achieve her coveted skinny physique.
Self-care. You don't need more food. You need less fixation. You need to gain your life back. Because skinny is a mindset. It's a standard, and yes, you can live.
Her Instagram was a treasure trove of dubious gems, where she shared all kinds of funny advice. She spoke about how skinny girls eat early to minimize the hours they might be tempted to give in to hunger.
Tonight is go to bed early. Every hour you sleep is 1 hour you don't eat. You want to know why sleep is a skinny girl cheat code? Because the girl who sleeps 8 hours only has 16 hours to say no to food.
She used her own past experience as a 9-to-5 worker to motivate her followings.
Working 3 jobs, I was no days off. Working some days 5 a.m. till 12 a.m. In office, no time, on intern salary, and I got lean.
Never a day I skipped. I made sure to get those steps in to do the damn thing.
She even used celebrities as a tool to spread her gospel.
Because they're not normal. Let me paint a picture for you. They wake up in mansion, they have chefs, trainers, IV drips on speed diet. If I had a private chef that made everything taste like heaven, I wouldn't crave bread either, babe.
And as if it couldn't get any more absurd, Schmidt dropped this banger. If you feel light after a meal, you're losing weight. If you feel heavy after a meal, you're gaining weight. Talk about gaslighting your own body signals, all in the name of gaining a following on social media.
But now I get hungry and I think, cute, this means my metabolism is working. Maybe I'll eat soon. Maybe I won't. Either way, I'm not spiraling. I'm skinny, and skinny girls don't beg their snacks to save.
The more Liv Schmidt shared, the more her advice sounded insane, and yet her followers ate it up. Before anyone knew, Schmidt had cultivated a cult-like following, using language that created an us versus them mentality between her subscribers and critics.
Wouldn't do something not healthy just for the sake of looks.
Well, I wouldn't
You know what
want to
I
be
mean?
fat, so.
I know, you wouldn't want to be fat, but like you wouldn't like, there are people who would go to extremes, like they would starve themselves for like a week.
No, I wouldn't,
you know,
but
you
like
would never do that.
The only
you know?
time I would do something unhealthy to get skinny is if I was like overweight. Then yeah, sure, I'll try
Like then
something.
what would you do? No, I'm curious now.
I would probably work out for a few hours a day and like try and get. I don't think
I don't
this
think
would happen
that's bad,
to me.
though necessarily. Like I'm
Okay,
saying
but
you
like
wouldn't,
now I
like-
don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm saying like what? Okay, but I guess unhealthy to us is like not unhealthy. Like okay, working out on social media is unhealthy now. Let's be serious. People are like, that's so unhealthy.
No,
working
that's
out 2
cra-
hours.
that's crazy.
So I'm
That's
saying
crazy.
like okay, like it probably isn't the healthiest, but I would probably be more focused on my protein and more focused on working out for at least 2 hours a day if I was overweight.
I don't
or
think that's unhealthy though. I think
but
that's
okay,
just
but
you
to the normal
prioritizing
people
your health.
are saying that's unhealthy.
I
That's
think
the
it's-
lengths I would go. Is I would probably work out.
Notice how she used the word normal people. It sends an awful message across that she and the people standing with her are part of a different caliber that, as you'd probably guess, are superior. This approach strengthened follower loyalty while also preparing her audience to dismiss external criticism as coming from people who just don't understand or who are jealous of their success. By the time TikTok banned her account in September 2024, Schmidt had amassed over 670,000 followers and had successfully transitioned from corporate girly to full-time influencer. The ban came after the Wall Street Journal began inquiring about her content as part of their investigative coverage. According to platform representatives, the account was removed for violating community guidelines that prohibit content promoting disordered eating or dangerous weight loss behaviors. Schmidt responded by twisting the ban and backlash and positioning herself as the main victim. "I simply said maybe you don't need a gallon of dairy, and suddenly I'm public enemy number one?" Schmidt took to Instagram to address the whole issue through snide remarks and captions. She said the same thing here. "Get off social media if me being skinny's a problem for you." What a way to get back at TikTok for calling you out on your terrible behavior. But the ban wasn't the end of her story. It was just the beginning of her transformation into something much more concerning. The leader of what critics would call a digital cult centered around the pursuit of thinness at any cost. And as her follower account grew, so did concerns about who's consuming her content and what they might be willing to do to achieve the skinny lifestyle she was selling.
Is this really the Skinny Society? Are you sure this is the Skinny Society?
After TikTok banned her account, most people expected that to be the end of her story. Unfortunately, it became the beginning of her most lucrative chapter. Instead of disappearing into digital obscurity, Schmidt did what any savvy entrepreneur would do. She pivoted, rebranded, and focused her attention on something much more profitable: her own society.
This is the Skinny Society, where skinny isn't a phase, it's a lifestyle, and we know how to keep it. Join the waitlist to the coaching program for the Skinny Society.
The Skinny Society wasn't just Schmidt's response to being deplatformed, it was the evolution of her brand into something far more concerning, a paid community where the product being sold was a false sense of body image. For $20 a month, with premium tiers reaching up to $50, followers could gain access to Schmidt's private Instagram group, where the real business of promoting extreme thinness happened away from the watchful eyes of public platforms.
$20 that changes everything for you. Everything I said free, but the structure, that's where most people fail. The community, that's where most people don't have. That's why I built the Skinny Society.
Schmidt's business model was both ingeniously simple and chillingly effective. She'd created a pay-to-play club where members paid for access to extreme weight loss advice. The more you paid, the more exclusive the tips, and the more deeply entrenched you became in her restrictive eating ideology.
Daily challenges, monthly challenges, community chats, food template, workouts. There's no meal plans. I don't believe in that. If someone's selling you a meal plan, guess the fuck what? Doesn't work.
Her words instantly appealed to young women already struggling with body image issues. It motivated them and drew a following that TikTok couldn't touch. Schmidt advertised her services effortlessly, with a marketing tone that would make even the most stingy customers spend their last cash.
Inside the Skinny Society, I give you everything: the do's, the don'ts, the food swap, the skinny-coded scripts, the workout calendars, the rituals, the psychology, the plan. You're not shrinking for society, you're sharpening for yourself.
The Skinny Society promised recipes, workout videos, daily meal diaries, and most importantly, access to a community chat where members could share tips, compete over restriction, and receive validation for behaviors that would be concerning in any other context. According to reports, Schmidt managed to attract over 6,000 paying members to her subscription service.
Over 6,000 girls in my Skinny Society, and
generating an estimated $130,000 per month in revenue. To put that in perspective, Liv Schmidt was earning more than many doctors and lawyers by teaching people how to be hungry. The financial success of the Skinny Society revealed something disturbing about our culture's relationship with thinness. There was clearly a market of people willing to pay premium prices for content that promoted extreme restriction.
Cauliflower rice, sauteed veggies, a soft-boiled egg, miso soup, steamed broccoli, shredded chicken, bone broth, chili flakes.
But here's where it gets messy. To get into Schmidt's cult-like group, you'd have to fill out a secret form. Fortunately, this form was leaked and it revealed entries so unprofessional and horrible that you'd wonder how it managed to get over 30 applicants in the first place. Looking past the lack of grammatical structure, you'll notice that Schmidt's primary concern was clearly keeping her business under wraps. The non-disclosure agreement clause screams red flags, hinting at a secretive, cult-like setup. It's a major giveaway that this operation was designed to be opaque and controlling. Now onto the elephant in the room, the $2,900 package. This is more than a subscription fee. It's a modern-day scam, way worse than Pro-Ana season. The package deal comes with group coaching and a non-refund agreement, all in the name of shedding pounds through extreme measures. Schmidt's subscription model promises an onslaught of content, live workouts, frequent progress reports, and daily tracking, all at an insane fee. At least the rest of the form revealed a humane side of her, where there are concerns about habits and existing or a history of eating disorders. But this form was only the tip of the iceberg. The content inside the Skinni Society was where Schmidt's true influence became apparent. In an interview with The Cut, one of the former members of the Skinni Society, a 37-year-old woman under the alias Emma, revealed some shocking details about Liv Schmidt's society. Members weren't just getting workout videos and smoothie recipes, they were joining what former subscribers described as a competitive environment, where eating less became a badge of honor. The group chat functioned like a digital version of the pro-anorexia forums of the early 2000s, but with a subscription fee and Instagram's polished aesthetic. Emma had initially joined the group after being taunted by her ex-boyfriend about her weight. She told the publication that this was the reason why she bought Schmidt's content immediately. According to Emma, after subscribing, the applicant would be included in a group chat where every individual was encouraged to share their weight goals and progress. However, mere minutes into joining the society, Emma quickly picked up on how dangerous it was and how Schmidt was promoting eating disorders. For instance, she would tell her members to chug water or green tea to trick their bodies into thinking they were not hungry. Emma even divulged that some of the members complained about hair loss from malnutrition and other tips and tricks on how to lose excessive weight. The competitive elements were especially harmful. Members would post their daily food intake, step counts, and weight changes, creating constant comparison and pressure to engage in increasingly extreme behaviors. Members competed over who could consume fewer calories, and concerning symptoms like dizziness and fatigue were either ignored or treated as normal parts of the Skinni lifestyle. They're also obsessive, so it's hard to not become obsessive too. It's like this little cult of being skinny. Members who gained weight or struggled with the extreme restrictions weren't met with concern for their health. Instead, they were encouraged to try harder or told they needed more discipline. The turning point for Schmidt's freedom on Instagram came after The Cut published this detailed investigation documenting the harmful dynamics within Schmidt's paid subscription community. The article included testimonials from former members describing competitive eating restriction, celebration of eating disorder symptoms, and direct encouragement from Schmidt to engage in dangerous behaviors. Following this coverage, Meta, Instagram's parent company, took action by restricting Schmidt's account to users over 18, removing her ability to offer paid subscriptions and stripping her access to monetization tools. Andy Stone, a Meta representative, posted this update on X, stating that Liv Schmidt was restricted from offering subscriptions and using monetization tools for good. The turn of events really brought out the beast in Schmidt, and she just couldn't help but let the frustration out on a podcast with one of her friends.
Honestly, literally fuck off.
Everybody fuck right off.
You want
Once again, Schmidt twisted the whole issue and made it look like she was the victim.
a bad person just because I said I wanted to be skinny. It wasn't like they painted me like I was this evil fucking bitch, all because I wanted to be skinny. Like I'm this fucking monster because they wanted to justify making a video of me.
Spoken as if she did not create a system that triggers insecurities at a high-end price. You'd think that after this kind of development, Schmidt would be canceled forever. Well, you couldn't be more wrong. Unfortunately, things ended up working in her favor. By banning Schmidt from mainstream platforms, TikTok and later Instagram actually drove her most dedicated followers to seek her out on subscription-based platforms where there was even less oversight and moderation. The Skinni Society became a magnet for those deeply invested in her ideology, creating a concentrated community of individuals who were potentially most vulnerable to her influence. But regardless of the major win, the financial hit was real. With Instagram's monetization tools off limits and her account age restricted, Schmidt's ability to lure new paying members to the Skinny Society took a serious hit. Her lucrative business model, which had been raking in over $100,000 monthly, suddenly faced an existential threat, and things were never going to be the same for her again. TikTok users were ecstatic with the news. The Skinny Society still pushes forward to this day. Liv Schmidt still has her usual supporters. They're most likely bots that Schmidt herself created, but the point is, people are still eating her content and paying that subscription fee.
We're gonna take the stairs because we just had breakfast and now we're going for a little walk to get 20,000 steps.
Despite the backlash, Schmidt continued to post testimonials on her Instagram highlights, enticing people with the benefits of joining her society. She also posted before and after photos of the ladies under her tutelage, showcasing transformations that would leave your jaws hanging, and not for the right reasons. The cult is expanding, and the internet is helpless to stop it. Girls who don't know better are being spoon-fed extreme food fads that could harm them in the process or in the future.
Let's try breakfast, lunch, dinner. Cheers.
Time and time again, Liv Schmidt has been playing whack-a-mole with censorship. One minute the internet censors her out, and the next she has returned powerfully. Her case is pretty disturbing, and it really highlights the limitations of her current approach to digital wellness and platform safety.
What can I control? I can be the most genuine person in the room. I can be the nicest person in the room. I can be the kindest soul in the room. No one in the world can be.
On the surface, Schmidt's content looks like premium lifestyle advice, with high production values, consistent branding, and glowing testimonials from satisfied customers. But beneath all that polish, she was promoting behaviors that could cause serious physical and psychological harm. YouTube's response, or lack thereof, is particularly baffling. Despite hosting content with titles like "Skinny Isn't Toxic, Obesity Is," and "The No-Fail Way to Be Skinny," the platform continued to allow Schmidt's content and even permitted monetization through ads. This platform is the only place she still has much influence, even though her following pales in comparison to what she had amassed on other social media applications. The fact that Liv Schmidt still has some social media presence where she pushes her agenda proves that social media companies have a long way to go in checking sensitive content. They've gotten pretty good at detecting and removing obvious harmful content, but they're still struggling to keep up with more nuanced threats that exploit loopholes in their community guidelines. Skinny with an I is one of such loopholes, and until YouTube does something to rectify this, Liv Schmidt will always have access to new and vulnerable audiences.
I'm blessed to be friends with her and have a connection with Liv personally. I don't feel weird going to get breakfast with you. Oh, not at all. We're like-minded people, and that's what I enjoy about the Skinny Society.
Fortunately, there is a silver lining with YouTube's recent AI verification system. In order to protect young users from consuming inappropriate content online, YouTube has announced the use of AI in guessing users' age. This is relatively good, as it would reduce the risk of the younger generation of girls falling prey to Liv Schmidt's cult movement. It's a great sign, but we're not completely out of the woods yet, considering the society we live in today. A lot of factors enabled Schmidt's success today. Her rise to fame coincided with the world's renewed focus on thinness, driven in part by celebrity weight loss stories and the increasing visibility of GLP-1 medications like Ozempic. This created the perfect recipe for Schmidt's teachings. It made her arguments seem timely and relevant rather than dangerous and outdated.
Stay skinny. So yes, be a food snob. And if you want a society, a community that encourages these standards, that doesn't pressure you to finish everything on your plate like it's 2005, join the Skinny Society.
The thousands of young women who paid to join the Skinny Society weren't just passive consumers of content. They were active participants in a system that monetized their insecurities and potentially put their health at risk. No one should be brainwashed into thinking that being skinny is the overall definition of healthy. Once upon a time, losing weight extremely and not deliberately used to be a telltale sign of an underlying sickness, such as hypothyroidism, cancer, heart failure, kidney failure, Crohn's disease, gum disease, eating disorder, medications, Alzheimer's disease, anxiety, and so much more. If people were to actively lose weight, they would not only miss the warning signs, but even embrace them, thinking it's part of the weight loss process, when in reality there's so much damage going on.
Saying I want to be skinny gets you canceled. But let me ask you this. If your hamster was overweight, you'd feed it less and make it run on its little hamster.
Liv Schmidt's doctrine would end up leading more young ladies to catastrophic health situations. Even licensed wellness experts don't key into her logic.
Younger people watching this shouldn't take this as gospel.
I don't think saving a few bites at the end of your meal is what's gonna get you quote-unquote skinny. I think if you want to be healthy, you can be healthy and you can eat whatever the hell you want.
Instead of promoting unhealthy extremes, we should be encouraging young women to focus on genuine wellness, building their immune systems, nourishing their bodies, and cultivating healthy habits. The argument that obesity exists shouldn't be put forward in this case. The two instances are both health hazards. Neither can outweigh the other. Liv Schmidt always seeks justification on this premise, but it doesn't make her argument more profound. The Skinny Society is more than just a toxic online community. It's a serious public health concern. It's time for a collective wake-up call. We can't afford to let our loved ones fall prey to these digital predators. While being skinny may have brought Schmidt fame and fortune, the long-term costs are uncertain, even for Schmidt herself. Who can tell how it would end for her as well? Her efforts could go down the drain if a sudden health crisis emerges. For her followers, the risks are very real, and the consequences could be dire. Until we address the root causes of this problem and hold influencers like Schmidt accountable, these parasitic figures will continue to thrive online.
I'm uncancelable at the end of the day. And you can just see it.
It's a field day for Liv Schmidt and her supporters, but a sad one for humanity.